way you judge yourself is the way you judge other people.
And half of the times, the things that we are feeling insecure about, it's because we are judging ourselves more so than anyone else in the room.
Right.
So when you learn that the spirit of transparency, then I think it's a self evolution that's happening. You're growing. You're learning to learn, because really that's the first thing, right? When you learn to love yourself and to accept yourself and to not judge yourself and to be gentle, and then you feel more comfortable with being transparent because you're not judging. You're okay. It's about your level of comfort with you, you know, first.
And there's a progression in that love. You know, everybody isn't at, the end point. Do we ever reach the end point?
No.
Of self-love?
Probably not.
But to be gentle with yourself in the process. So, okay, my self-love isn't the greatest, but it's getting better, and it's improving, and use where you've been as your benchmark, and just track your progress.
Yes. And again, to her letter, because she's like, where? I mean, it's like, you can start small. It doesn't have to be this grandeur. I'm going to fix my entire life,
right?
Like, start small. Like, if it's one of those things, it's important for you to lose weight. And I know that's like a hit theme, but it's just like, where is it that you can be transparent and be honest with yourself with that?
Right.
How are you really honest?
Take a small bite.
How are you really working with yourself?
Right.
Are you being honest?
Are you being honest? Okay, stay with us. We have a couple of more Facebook comments from men who want to comment on what was said. So we'll stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
I'm not.
M2.
I'm not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, so looking at what's trending, it's almost like what's not trending. Everything's trending. Okay, there have been a few deaths this week, or in the past couple of weeks, because Della Reese was last week.
Yes.
Della Reese, that was,
so sad.
Yeah, actress, gospel-influenced singer who's known for her roles in Touched by an Angel, Harlem Nights, Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Was she in Thin Line? She died at the age of 86 on November 19th.
Wow.
Earl Hyman, who played the role of Russell Huxtable, a.k.a. Grandpa Huxtable.
Oh, yes.
Yep. He died November 17th at the age of 91.
Wow.
Yes. And then famous child star David... David who?
From the Partridge Family?
Yes. Yes, from the Partridge Family. He was 67. I didn't hear about that one. I heard about Della Reese and...
Cassidy, I think. Was that his last name?
I think
David
that
Cassidy.
sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right,
Yeah.
Okay, so the question posed by my amazing guy who compiles the news, Ian, he says, will this be the blackest Grammy Awards we've ever seen?
Oh.
Artists Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar have both garnered 8 and 7 nominations, respectively.
Wow.
At the Grammys. We're not talking about the BET Awards. We're talking about the Grammys.
I love it.
Also, reality TV star Cardi B was nominated for 2 Grammys for her hit Bodak Yellow.
Oh.
I don't understand that song. Okay.
Random thought.
And then, let's see. Let me see. Okay. Album of the Year category will feature 3 African Americans, and 4 out of the 5 nominees are of color. So there's, this is great. This is great.
Fantastic.
Yes. So I think that's. Oh no, this I have to bring up. It's not happy. So my transition to this is probably not the greatest right now. But those of you who have been following what's going on in Libya is just absolutely disgusting. And I don't know, all I've been seeing is posts, people expressing their anger towards it, but I haven't seen any actual action taking place to stop what's going on. And what's going on is basically the men are being enslaved, and it's trafficking, basically human trafficking, and it's off. I mean, just the conditions that these pictures are just absolutely horrible. And so,
that's scary.
There's so much to comment on.
Yeah.
I'm sad by the events in Libya, but it speaks again to where we are, because it's not just with the human trafficking, it's the sex trafficking. It's everything. And for me, if there is a desire or want, there's we are fulfilling requests.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, again,
the fact that that's even what somebody wants.
There's a request being met.
Yeah.
So that's where it makes me sad. It's because people wouldn't do it if there wasn't
a need for
it. But this is where you brought up human.
Okay.
The very core of.
Let's do it.
You know, when we go back to the, at some point we have to rise above nature, and because if we just operated in just pure nature,
animal nature,
because we all have that
happen. Right, we all have our animal self, that part of us that's just that innate, raw.
Right.
But we are evolving. We're expanding our awareness. That's what we're talking about here, right? So we as human beings have a responsibility to go beyond that just innate desire to do something like this.
That's why we run the earth, because we supposedly were able to rise above
the animal nature, right?
So for me, it's like I offer, have we really learned from our past? Have we actually taken time, and again, with everything else that we need to take some time out and assess ourselves and do, have we really learned from our past? Because this is not new. Right. This has happened under societies. It's not just where it happened in America. This has been a perpetuating problem,
right?
Generation after generation from BC time. But have we learned? Oh, go ahead.
Well, no. But what I forgot to add to this is that the president has basically said that CNN is spreading fake news by putting the word out there about Libya, and challenging the report and saying that this is, saying that this modern day slave auctions is not real, and so this is the response of the leader of our country.
So do you think, who are purchasing these people? Are there American people that
what? And I'm not sure.
I don't even want to say, in my head, I wanted to say, yeah, it's probably is. I don't have no research.
And if that's the case, is this the start of something bigger than just this small, and it's not small, but
from my understanding, it was something within the continent, but I'm not totally sure.
And again, I'm not coming from facts. This is stuff that's just been posted on media as well. So it was a guy. He was of African American. So his perception or view of it, and again, I don't know how not true it is or whatever, but where there's always intention behind it. So being that there is a ploy present to really get the country itself to where we can get to the natural resources. So this is what we're going to cause and create so that we can infiltrate and take take the country. Because again, there's a resource that we want.
Yeah.
And so the only reason why we would intervene or have something to take place to even consider, because it was even like with the Ebola virus.
Right.
A lot of people didn't want to talk about it. People saying shut down, cut stuff off, whatever. But at the end of the day, we travel everywhere. And
We're
that
global
we're
now.
global.
People go
But
live.
yeah, but it's the
You know.
incentive as far as, you know, why to intervene or it being caused. This is causing something so that we can come in and take something. So I don't, you know, it's like, I hate using the word conspiracy because again, I feel that there is truth. There's always truth amongst people who say, oh, well, those are just conspiracy theories or this is that. I feel at this point in my life and what I'm learning that you have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
What we have been taught is sometimes not what is actually real.
Right.
So it's
Multiple-
yeah. So I don't know, but it's just very disheartening to see that this is happening.
It is.
And it hasn't stopped because for me it's like I don't feel like it just happened overnight. It just hasn't
It's
stopped.
just being exposed.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
the capacity to expose these things like never before. And so it's being exposed, and then our president's response is fake news, fake news.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. When we come back, we are definitely going to get these comments from Facebook.
Okay.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we're talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And, just kind of going over some of the news and some of the things that are happening. But we've had a pretty robust conversation, or some pretty interesting comments that have come out on Facebook, particularly with our conversation about men. Working with men, and my perception, again, it's my perception. This is not what I say is fact, but my perception that men really work, maybe not necessarily well together, but they know how to collaborate and partner in ways that get the job done. We do it very differently as women. We tend to be a little bit more competitive, a little bit more standoffish. Can I really trust you? And then when we do partner, we go over the top with it, and like, look at, we're all partnered, and I don't really see guys do that. So if you have comments on this, give us a call or text 678-613-5857. So what's being said on Facebook? The first thing that Robert Pierce said, which I thought was a great comment, was because when a woman comes into the fold, and my question was, why is it that when I want to get in on this great peaceful partnership that men seem to be engaged in, I want in too, and then when I try to get in, my admission price is a little bit different, so you got to do this, or how about you come do this, and then I'll
analogy. Admission price.
Admission price is a little different. And so So I posed that question, and to that question, Robert Pierce said, because when a woman comes into the fold, it changes the dynamics. It becomes a competition of who is the alpha male, you know. And
That is
so,
like great.
Yeah. So, you know, because my initial thought was, did they have to do this? Was that the admission fee for them, you know, in the partnership with all these men? Did they have to sleep with the men, or did they have
Depends
to,
on the circle.
you know, and it may be. And if that's the case, I want to know. You guys, let me know.
Yes.
Because I want to advocate for you too if that's been happening. James Bannerman, he said, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. Robert Pierce said, men deal with it more than they will ever admit. And I wouldn't doubt that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know, though, how can we be in support and in partnership with you if we don't know? But maybe that's how they've made it.
Awareness. We need to be aware. That seems to be the theme that keeps coming up today, expanding our awareness of things.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't see the benefit in speaking out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it's more painful than it is beneficial. And that is
that's real
cost analysis to consider.
Well, it's the other thing too, where again I feel like it's that double standard. Mm-hmm. Where if men have this experience, okay, be a big boy,
Privilege.
or it's,
I see what you mean.
Oh yeah,
Double
it's
standard.
more.
Got
it's
it,
like
got
the
it.
double standard where okay, if there is something that's going on, and this is more speaking towards like the sexual assault thing. You know, well, you a dude, so
Suck
that's
it up.
supposed to happen, or
Right.
you know, it's a compliment, or you know, just the different dynamics as to what we're discussing. So I don't, you know,
right. And when we talk about, you know, sexual assault for men, it can happen by other men. It can happen by women. You know, there's a variety. Okay, so men deal with it more than they will ever admit. Jay Hurt just said Russell Simmons just stepped down from his company as well. I haven't heard that news yet, so I'm
I
going to
hadn't either, but I did hear about somebody
that came forward.
Wow. So I didn't know that he had stepped down.
Wow. They came forward
about a sexual assault experience with him.
Oh, Russell.
And it was like 15 years ago.
Was it a male or female?
It's a female.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have
Female, 15 years
That's
ago.
about the time when he got divorced, isn't it?
It might be. I don't follow
Here
him
I am
like
speculating.
that. Right.
Let me just read the story when I get to it.
Yeah.
The other one is, Robert said, wow, you dimmed her out. I don't know what he was, I don't know what I must have said at that point.
Do we feel dimmed? Does anybody feel dimmed right now?
I feel like I'm
dimmed.
shining.
Okay, good.
Yes, exactly. We're shining on each other. Yes.
Leroy is saying, you on it, my brother. He's talking to Robert, so
Okay.
he's kind of giving him a high five, virtual high five. Robert said it can, so this was the question, I think, was in the response to, can the guys compete about who gives the most money? Can the guy compete about who helps the most?
That was
so here's Robert's response to that. He says, it could very well be about who helps out the most, but the core of it is being the alpha. So if I help you with your business and invest in your dream, but the next dude happens to get you in a sexual relationship, who wins in the eyes of the group? It's all about ego.
Wow. Can't both parties, everybody win?
The money
It
is
can't
a
be
prelude to the sex.
Right.
So again, so let's go with this. It's again redefining in the conditioning. Why is it that money is associated to, you know, the preempt to either sex or a preempt to a relationship? You get what I'm saying? Like, why is it money solely associated? Not
It's
solely.
a transaction. You want something in return for what
Okay,
you...
but how come you can't get my time? You can't get the business
This
that I
America.
offer? I know, but I'm just saying.
That's the number one commodity, you know.
And we've placed, and people have put an importance on that, and that's what I want to address.
Yeah.
Like, why is this put as the importance?
Ego.
Why aren't anything else
It's all about ego.
important?
Yeah.
You don't. Me coming to the table with ideas to what I can present, another perception, perspective, things that I can offer to expand the business or build towards a foundation. Why is that not valuable?
I mean, I have $1 million
It is
ideas,
valuable.
and all you want to do is sleep with me. Like I got $1 million ideas, and you just want to sleep with me.
Right.
You know.
These are things that just need to be questioned.
Yeah.
So,
So I can't even tell you how it is such a deep frustration that I have that I haven't really spoken on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people who they know who they are.
Yes.
You know, and I'm so I'm not quite ready.
okay,
but
no.
Not ready to be transparent.
Yes.
You're not ready to share
my experiences because it's been on repeat. You know, I don't want to say rarely, but often it turns into something more, or often the proposition is more than just let's partner, let's, it's usually a lot more than that.
So with that being said, do you feel as though when you have a male trying to help you, are you always like leery? Do you always have
Like,
your
what's this about?
Right? What's your rules?
Yeah, I think I have a bit of a wall up at first until I get to know whether or not the person's authentic. Now, I have certainly worked with a lot of authentic males, so this is not by any means the majority, but it's happened enough for me to have a wall up and say, okay, what are you about? You know, and I have lost out on a lot of opportunities and a lot of deals because I wasn't willing to
give it up.
Yeah.
That is so funny because the way I do it, hey brother such and such, hey brother such and such. I've had that is my practice.
Yeah.
And anything, because for me, I'm venturing into the more entertainment. I sing, I work with producers, and they have been nothing but fabulous. But brother such and such.
Yeah.
How you doing, brother such and such? Brother. So it is already established where
you are,
and I'm going with
and
you.
I feel like I established that as well.
I'm sure you
but
do.
It's just like,
we want to go more.
Dude. All right, we'll be right back.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
From the University of Alabama, the Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl, then prison. The remarkable story of Sherman Williams that you must read to believe. Crimson Cowboy, Peace Between the Lines, is the incredible journey of an NFL star continued road to redemption. You must get this book now at crimsoncowboy.com. crimsoncowboy.com.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Sensation Station Network.
Radio 2, Atlanta.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
In the interest of science. 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 Science.
Okay, so the research, science. All right, so there is this theory that I really love, and I don't know the name of it offhand, but I do know that it's about ratios, and so it's about the ratio of positive to negative experiences and how we how that impacts our day, our livelihood, our health, mental health. So basically what it says is that if we have more negative experiences, so let's say me and Daisy, we've been hanging out all day, and she's kind of made 3 snide remarks, but but the rest of the day she's just been really, really, really sweet, and we've just had some great experiences for the rest of the day, then we're probably good, but if it turns into more negative than positive, then that has a strain on me. It has a strain on our relationship. It's so I believe the ratio is 3 to 3. So 3 negatives, 3 positives, there's some balance. When it's children, they actually need more positive than negative. So they need like 7 to 5 or something like that. And so it's important, I think, for us to think about the ratio of negative to positive experiences, because we don't think about how that can impact our livelihood and our day, and so we may have, and sometimes one negative experience can have the impact of 4 positive experiences. So the more conscious we are of that, I think the more control we can have over our mind and how we receive things, and how we deliberately go out to seek more positive experiences to kind of balance out our day and how we feel.
That's awesome.
So I wish I was trying to pull up the actual ratios, and I wasn't able to get those up, but if I am able to get those up, I'll let you know what that is.
Many times we're on coast. We're on autopilot. And so again, with what it is that I'm venturing into and stuff like that, and what's going on now with me, it's about being checked in. So with the ratio, it makes sense. And so, but if you're not checked in, if you're not constantly aware of what is just floating, it's just taking floats and just passing by, and you just entertaining it, and you just believing it, and you're not really saying, okay, is this true? Or I'm feeling this way. Well, why am I feeling this way? I think that it just does us a disservice. We are not catering to what we need in that moment. And so I think that's a beautiful, scenario, because again, it can take you out if you're not really checked in. Check in. I mean, and kids is a different thing, because again, they're more, they need to be validated. And it's going to be where they're going to be looking for external validation. They're going to be looking for a little bit more, because they're in their formative years. They formulate, and it's things
so
that
important.
They take And
one of the things we talked about in previous weeks was just how our stress alone can cause health problems in kids, like asthma and things like that. Just our stress can do this to
the kids.
A child.
And how their perception of things, and we don't even ask. As a parent, of course, shout out to all those that are parents, because you're parents of many things, so it's not just one thing, but those who have the 2-legged, beautiful beings that come into your life. It's one of those things. Have you ever checked in on your child to say, hey, what did you perceive in that moment? And if it's not the word perceive, how did you feel when you saw this happen to mommy and daddy, or both mommies and both daddies? Just whatever the dynamic is.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, okay, and just be considerate for that moment. I know parents are considerate all the time. They got to think of their kids. But when heightened situations come, hey, how did you feel? What did you perceive? Like, what did you get from this?
I love what you're saying, because I always feel like the most precious gift that you can give yourself is awareness. Living in the now, and we are on autopilot. The society that we live in, our culture breeds for us to be on autopilot, or to go with the group mentality. And so when you snap out of it, that's when you become woke. Air quotes, woke. And we need to be more woke. I don't know. Did I say that right?
Because it's work. Once you find out certain things about yourself and you be in a continuous state, y'all, it's a work ethic like no other. Just like you show up to a job and you about getting that money. I'm about to get that money. I'm getting that money. All right, well, you going to get your conscience too. Are you going to be aware? And it is a work ethic like no other.
Absolutely. So, and I did find the ratios, by the way. So it's called the positivity ratio. And it basically says living in the most valuable reality means maintaining a 3-to-1 ratio. So I was really off when I said 3-to-3. 3-to-3, you mess.
Yeah.
So 3 positive experiences and interactions and that kind of thing to 1 negative. So 3-to-1 is kind of a decent, healthy balance. A 2-to-1 ratio, where you have 2 positive interactions for one for 1 negative interaction, you're at a point of languishing. And then when it's 1-to-1, and this is what I was basically saying earlier, when I said 3-to-3, that's equivalent to 1-to-1. 1 positive interaction for 1 negative interaction, that's depression. That leads you into a point of depression.
Wow.
So you want to make sure that you're at least a 3-to-1 ratio in positive versus negative experiences. And what they say about children, did I have that here? Oh, I don't have that here, but I think it was like 7-to-1. I mean, it was so much more than 3-to-1. You know, for
you know what
adults.
I love most about this science? 5-to-1 for children. What I love most about this science is that you have total, complete control over changing the balance.
Yes.
So if you've had that one, how many bad experiences?
3-to-1, 3 positive to 1 bad.
Okay, so if you had that one, you have the power always to seek out the positive experiences, even if it's taking that negative experience and turning it into
reframing
it exactly. And I think that we forget that we have that power. We get so caught up in our emotions and the negative, thing that's happening to us and how we're responding that we forget, hey, you know what? I can take control of the situation and I can turn it around, or I can go and seek out a positive experience. Sometimes it's just being nice to a person.
Right, and that you created a positive experience by doing that. And that's why that's also why I love the research and I love science, because you're able, when you know this stuff, you can do something about it. Awareness, it's everything. And so even with couples, it's something to think about. If you're in a relationship, think about, the health of your relationship. Are you languishing? And is this a languishing relationship? Is this a depressed relationship? Is this a thriving relationship? In a relationship, you want the goal to be 5-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
So you want to, make sure that there are 5 positive interactions at least to every 1 negative interaction. And from a business standpoint, if you're working with people, 3-to-1 is a healthy place.
Lovely.
So I just think, very interesting. The more we know, the more we're armed with, the more we can.
What's that? The little rainbow.
Yes.
That's
so. Any thoughts? Okay, because I'm gonna just pivot to something else, but.
Oh, no. I think it's beautiful, and I feel like that's a start. So going back again to the love letter, the start.
Yes.
Finding those positive affirmations to the 1 negative, as far as you being transparent.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Just another tool, another nugget.
You can apply that. Yes. You can apply that to any goal, progression thing you're trying to accomplish in your life. I love that. I think that's great. All right. Balance challenge.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so the balance challenge for this week, I gave it earlier, and that is for you to be able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody who has may have a very different experience, perspective, demographics. And demographics don't necessarily mean that we're different or that we have different experiences, but wouldn't it be interesting to sit down with somebody, totally different demographic, and find out that there's so many similarities? So I think that there can be value in whether or not the person's experience mirrors yours or does not. Because there's so much that we can learn from one another. We've talked a lot about men and sexual assault today. They have stories too, and we haven't delved into those stories. But they absolutely have stories too. And so I think that what's so important, we're so divisive. I mean, the society is so divided, and I would love to see more of us sit down with somebody else and just listen and just learn their journey of how they got to where they are today. So that's my challenge to you this week. I want you to find somebody that you can just sit down and listen to without feeling the need to compete or interject your experience and say, well, I did that too, or that didn't. Just listen. Listen. That's your challenge for this week. We'll be right back.
It's my Mac Daddy vibe I'm giving you in all of its splendor. What's up?
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Meet former Dallas Cowboy Sherman Williams as he makes his way through Atlanta to Arlington, Texas for the release of Crimson Cowboy, Peace Between the Lines. Don't miss your time to gain valuable insight on how to avoid the pitfalls of success. For appearance information, please go to info@palmerwilliamsgroup.org. Meet former Dallas Cowboy Sherman Williams as he makes his way through Atlanta to Arlington, Texas for the release of Crimson Cowboy, Peace Between the Lines. Don't miss your time to gain valuable insight on how to avoid the pitfalls of success. For appearance information, please go to info@palmerwilliamsgroup.org.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Hey, so Cardi B, right? Is this the Cardi B?
Oh, is that it?
Nah, I can't help that beat. I just go like, I tried not to.
Please don't start freestyling on this.
Oh my gosh! Yes. I'm gonna have to do a freestyle show. I love freestyling. All right, I know you guys are shocked. You're like, Dr. Pam don't be freestyling.
She does.
I do.
I have video footage if anybody's interested.
That's so cool. And it was the rap freestyle too. Okay, so we have a comment from Caroline Smith. First she says, hello, ladies.
Hey.
And then she says, and this was part of our conversation a while back, and I think she made this comment while you were talking, Danelle. She said, change requires introspection. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who don't have or don't know how to have I guess what it is they're striving for. So they don't have and they don't know how to have. Teaching that, to me, is just as important as anything else that we teach our kids, the ability to reflect within and introspection.
I agree.
Yes.
Woo.
I think that's so important.
I think that's the greatest tool. I
It
think that
is.
needs to be taught to 45.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I honestly feel like he has a diagnosis. I don't think narcissism is not just a. It's
right.
Like
it's not just an adjective.
No,
it's a condition.
It is his. It is his condition.
I agree. I would agree.
Not putting on an act.
And that's not just an opinion. I mean, that has been kind of the observed diagnosis of professionals in the field. And in fact, an article came out yesterday where they are seriously considering whether he is fit for the presidency. The article said that he is, he's got the lives of millions of people in his hands. And is he really, mentally fit to do this? Interesting that the question is coming up now, a year later, when there was evidence of this well before now.
Right.
But that was the question that was posed. And in all fairness, that question has been posed throughout the campaign, and but it seemed to be taken a little bit more seriously in yesterday's article. So
what is it going to take?
Well, I think, not saying he's going through impeachment right now, but it's the proposals are being put out there.
But haven't they been from the beginning?
Not in the way that
there's actual movement now, but
Yeah.
I don't know that that's even the best decision because, you know,
If he gets impeached,
because
then who takes over?
the vice-
And what is
that-
his diagnosis?
Right. It's that, and then from what I've learned about impeachment is that impeachment is not necessarily synonymous to removal. So impeachment is the process that's happening,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that it concludes in removal.
Right.
And so
I just feel like it's showing more, exposing more of our differences and dividing us versus us bringing us together.
Yeah.
That's
And-
where
and
I feel the whole leadership is.
Yeah.
And leadership, it can come in many forms, many facets, but the type of leadership that I feel is impelling for it to be in the presidency is just a different look, a
Right.
different feel, a different thought.
Well,
so
and I think one of the greatest concerns I have is his preoccupation with issues that really are not under his
Relevant.
purview. Yeah, you know, the kneeling of the athletes, the accusing Libya of being fake news. Instead of making an accusation, you're the president. You have the capacity to go and investigate
Oh my
and
gosh.
find out whether or not this is really happening.
What about him bringing up Puerto
and
Rico's debt
championing?
while
Yes.
they're in need of help?
Yeah, so things like that, you know, that's really, you know, what concerns me. But we had a question that was posed. Let me see. Well, actually, no, it's a question I saw that it's back to the sexual assault stuff. And the question is, so why did companies start firing guys that they knew for years were sexual assaulters? Like, so this wasn't a secret, but now let's move forward and fire. What tipping point made this cultural shift?
Because now it's no longer socially acceptable.
Yeah,
it's becoming a thing. You know, just like, you know, understanding and acceptance of LGBTQ communities.
We're shifting.
It used to be, I don't want to say it used to be okay, but it was socially acceptable to shun this group of people.
Yeah. Right.
But now it is not.
Yes.
And I think the same is happening
waking
with
up.
with the sexual assault. You know.
Yeah.
And then I have a question.
Sure.
What do you guys think about the abrupt persecution of a person who has been accused of sexual assault? Like, do you think
Yeah,
that there
that's a good
is some
question.
power in a person being put in the hands of a person who wants to tear someone down and there's not a truthful accusation?
I think that is a great question. Because we are behaving very abruptly, you know, and part of it because we're saying that we have zero tolerance for this. And I think in this process of change and this transition, there's a lot of chaos in the process. And I think that's problematic. I think that, you know, we've got to come up with a way to, you know, now it sounds like in Matt Lauer's case, I keep wanting to say Mike Lowry. I think I'm thinking of, but I think in Lauer's case, he's come forward and said that it happened, but that was a question as soon as it happened that came to mind. Wow, he was fired. Did he have a chance to defend himself? Is this something that they know without a shadow of doubt happened? Right. And so I think we need to be careful on both sides of the coin from the standpoint of, somebody who may be an innocent bystander or innocent, accused person, as well as those who are experiencing the assault. I don't know what the fine balance is there, but
I don't know what the fine balance is, but for them to quickly fire, for me, I feel like there were knowing parties. So I want to disassociate myself.
So they knew well before we all.
And there's actually documentation. So instead of anybody else investigating this company, we just going to let you go.
Yeah.
And so for me, again, because for me, I don't want anybody who is innocent to be their name tarnished.
Right.
You know, things.
Because once the accusation comes,
right, it's a wrap. So how do you guys feel about people who you feel good about, someone who you really love, like for instance Kevin Spacey? I love Louis C.K. He's one of my favorite comedians, so it's almost like we're being robbed.
Well, we don't know, and
the thing is we
don't really know these people. You know what I'm saying? And so we love their persona on TV.
You are so right.
So it's, you know,
don't
it's
know.
like
If I met them in
the
person,
baggage
I
they
might
really have. Yeah, we get to
That is so
learn
true.
the true issues that are behind.
R.
and we have
Kelly.
to-
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
R. Kelly. I love his music, but I've been torn because
Yeah.
again of
I can't even listen to it.
yeah, I can't. I've always been a fan, you know, and it's just like I hate to say that,
right?
Because I feel like I'm supporting.
And then some people will just deny what he did just because they
So my
feel
guests don't
the
hear the
way he
music.
did.
Sorry,
that's
yes,
on
okay,
that's saying
sorry.
that the show is over. But
The show is over.
The show is over. Go to peasyheads.com, peasyheads.com, and
Danelle Porsche, everything Danelle Porsche, or if you put Soar with 3 S's, come check me
There
out.
you go.
Come get some encouraging words.
all right, we'll be back in 2 weeks. See you later. Peace out.
Peace out.